All right. And we are live. Feels good to be back on another episode of the Inner Circle podcast once again. Very excited to have some great guests on this week. A lot of Xbox news as always. And we are back on YouTube. I'm kind of excited about that, honestly, because YouTube has been very mean to me. I don't know why they treat Tick Podcast so bad. All we're trying to do is grow, and reach that audience out there. But every time we expand, they want to bring us back down. But that's cool though. It is what it is. So listen, man, Microsoft had I want to say they had a good 2 weeks. Everybody else out there want to make it seem like they had bad 2 weeks. I just feel like a lot of PlayStation guys out there was looking for certain things that they would get on PlayStation, and Xbox delivered what I think they feel they want to deliver on Xbox, and I loved it. I loved everything about it. I spoke about it on last week's episode. If you didn't see it, one of the things that had me really excited was the amount of RPGs they shown. As an RPG head, I thought it was really important that they showed all these games that they have in development. I was like, if they didn't show the new Fable or at least Obsidian's new game, I would be severely disappointed. Like Halo didn't even really have the impact on me the way other people, the way it had impact on other people. But for me, it was all about those RPGs, and I feel like they delivered. They delivered more than I expected. I'll be honest with you, because of the simple fact that they were able to get Dragon Quest 11 on there. You know what I'm saying? And we was able to get basically sort of like the new DLC sort of reboot for Fantasy Star Online. So to me, I think they covered a lot of bases. So I'm really excited about what they're going to deliver. And we still have another studio in Exile that has an RPG that they're working on as well, besides Wasteland dropping. So it's everything that I wanted. The thing that made me go to 360 was RPGs, both Japanese and Western. Xbox, the original Xbox, it was Knights of the Old Republic, Jade Empire. Halo's phenomenal. I love Halo. I'm a fan of Halo, but it was those RPGs that got me on Xbox, and that's what kept me. So very excited for next generation. Got a lot to discuss tonight. Glad to have the team here with us. And let's go ahead and start the show because we're already running behind. So here we go. Welcome to the Inner Circle podcast, the premier podcast for Xbox. I'm your host, OX3 Kellel, with my man, Cam Hambone.
What's going on, everybody?
My boy, Karaba.
What's up?
Our guest, Delilah HD.
What's up? What's up?
And our other guest, Dirt Griggity.
What's happening?
Chilling. Post Up is in the multiplayer podcast. Hopefully he joins after the show. So Halo Infinite was shown at Microsoft's recent, I guess you could say, Xbox game showcase. And I think if you're a Halo fan, you were excited for what you saw. Open world game. I heard initially, before they decided to change it, that they were going to do some crazy things with this game. One of the cool things I heard that they were going to do was initially they were going to allow you to basically hop in a Banshee and fly. Like anything on the Halo ring that you saw, you could fly to. I thought that was incredible. Like just the thought of saying, you know what, I'm going to hop in this Banshee and I'm going to fly from one end of the Halo ring to the other end of the Halo ring was pretty insane. But then I heard that they weren't able to achieve that because of the original OG Xbox. How true that is, I don't know. But it does kind of go to show you that when you talk about scaling a game and when you talk about, the previous generation holding the next generation back, those are the type of things that you sort of fall to in a way. So with that being said, when we got a chance to finally see the game, a lot of people were impressed with the game graphically. Now, we have no idea what the features are of this game. We have no idea what are the capabilities of this game, with the new CPU. We didn't really get too in depth on it. It just really kind of gave us a quick gameplay segment, and that was pretty much it. And I'm sure they'll go into more detail later on. But for the most part, first impressions are always important, and we didn't really get a good first impression because of everybody was looking for next gen graphics, being that this is supposed to be this showcase of a game for the Xbox Series X. And then you had all the memes that came out and everything like that. So I'm not sure if it was a good start for Xbox. Then you have rumors that 343 may be struggling or having issues with development. And I just think a lot of people don't consider the time and the situation that we're in, like COVID-19 and working from home, trying to communicate. You're talking about a studio that has what, 300, 400, 500 people?
That was more than that.
343?
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard they have 1,500 people.
They do not have 1,500 people. No studio. I mean, all of Ubisoft has 1,500 people. They don't have that many people in one studio.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, but yeah, they have about like 400 to 500 people, something like that. And I'm like imagining all these people at home and everyone is working from the cloud, sharing information from the cloud, having Zoom meetings, trying to get this thing done when normally you're just in a studio working together as a team. So I can understand the difficulty of that. Do you guys think, and I do understand this is like an older build, it's supposed to be a newer build out there than one that should be coming soon, but do you guys think this game will come together by launch?
Yeah.
I'll say yes, because you're talking about it a little bit before the show. The history of Halo games is that they always visually don't like wow people during a beta or during some sort of E3 demonstration, but when the time comes to deliver on launch or at launch, they always look good. It's a lot of things missing, like ambient occlusion, shadows on faces, things like that, but those are all things that can get touched up. And it's not, it didn't blow me away visually, but like, I hate to say it, but spoiler alert, a lot of games are going to be that way going into the early next gen, because there's no way that companies like EA and Ubisoft and Square Enix,
right,
big publishers, are going to abandon the install base of 170 million people on Xbox One and PS4. They're just not going to do that for the first 2-3 years. Far Cry 6 is not going to be exclusive to next gen. Like, there are going to be games that are across all 4 of those platforms, and they're going to have to work to the scale down to the lowest common denominator of the original VCR Xbox.
Right.
So they're gonna be scaled down in a way that's, we're still gonna be waiting a little bit to see the next big next gen game, right? The game that makes us go, that's why I paid $600. Right. So I'm more worried about how Halo's gonna play. I'm not worried about a pre-release demo of a game, whether it looks bad or good, because that happens all the time. But that grappling hook, fusion coil stuff, the open world nature of Halo, it seems like a good evolution. The Chief looks good. His pilot buddy, the animations, the facial animations, the acting, everything that they put into this looks solid. I'm going to let the next couple months kind of roll by, get all the information. I really want to hear about multiplayer. And just kind of relax. I'm not gonna. No one's having a meltdown. No one should be having a meltdown. It's a work in progress, right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I never liked the character model for Halo. Like, even when I first,
the main character, Chief.
No, Chief looked fine. I'm talking about like the
dog, the companion. Okay.
Yeah, like when I first saw it, when I first saw it, I was saying to myself, that didn't look next gen, and to me, it still doesn't look next gen. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that it won't look better. I'm not saying it could be the engine, because my understanding is that they initially was going with Unreal Engine 4.
Yeah.
And then they switched it over to Slip Space because it allows them to do what they want to do with it. But I just think maybe possibly from a graphical standpoint, like it probably from a fidelity and physics standpoint allows them to do the things that they want to do. You know what I'm saying? But I think from a graphical standpoint, it may not allow them to hit the graphical fidelity of what we expect for next generation.
Yeah,
honestly, because it's just something about the character, like the hair doesn't look like it's like a natural on the character's face. The skin on the character doesn't look natural.
His eyes don't like they don't blink and close. That's always bothered me, even from the demo we saw or the little thing we saw last year at E3. His eyes don't look as good as other top games characters' eyes. That's maybe a weird thing, but you know.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like there's just something about it that is off. And I don't know if they can repair that in time. I don't know if they have another build that makes it look more realistic. Because my thing is adding like Microsoft is so enamored with 4K. And I don't want that to hold them back. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to reach 4K natively so bad that they're willing to sacrifice graphic fidelity to reach it, because there is a big difference between resolution and graphics. And I'd rather them go for the purity and realism of graphics and drop the resolution to reach that. Even if you have to go to 1440p or checkerboard, I'd rather them do that. But I think that they've built this name on 4K
Native.
that they can't. Yeah, like they can't do it now. You know what I'm saying? Because then it makes them look hypocritical. That you talk so much about 4K this, 4K that, native 4K this, native 4K that, and now your competition, who's going to be using DLSS and checkerboarding for their games, they're going to be able to push their graphics to whatever limit they can, while maybe sacrificing resolution, but the game is probably going to look absolutely incredible. And I just don't want that for Microsoft, where they rather go native 4K and then the games kind of don't look as good as your competitors because you want to reach native 4K. And that's the thing that kind of scares me with this when I started really thinking about it, and some of the things like Eurogamer spoke about that as well.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Let me say something. What you said, the question that you asked, like, do we think the game is going to be ready? I think so, because the most important part is the gameplay, and I thought the gameplay looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought it looked smooth. So like most of the issues that people had with the demo was the graphics, Craig, or how things looked. The game didn't look bad, right? But it didn't look next gen, as you said, Cal. It didn't look next gen.
Right.
If this game was running on, if the Xbox Series X wasn't about to come out yet, and this was like, just say 2018, the gameplay, people are like, oh, hey, that looks pretty good. But because it's a new console on the way in a few months, people like, oh, it doesn't look that great.
Reacting a little bit. So have you all read the Halo Waypoint article that was released, I think today? Or
I did.
So
I didn't see that one.
Okay, I think it was. I can't remember what time it was released, but just know that it's at the top of mind for the team, basically.
Yeah.
What they were trying to go for is they were trying to target a lot of complaints that they've heard from the community in regards to like art style. People kept, even with Halo, the Halo 5 and Halo 4, people kept harking back to the original Halo art style, and that's what it was trying to target and go for. I think people are just that initial reaction to the graphics. I think people are just like, expectations are set from just looking at these games like Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima. Like, they look incredible for this gen, right?
Right.
And I feel like it's just the game will come out and you will like it. That's all I can say.
I'm gonna like the game regardless. I'm
talking about as far as everything, like as far as graphic fidelity and as far as gameplay. To me, it's going to be a great experience, and it'll meet expectation.
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say.
I think the comparison you made was good, with like people expecting it to look as good as Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us Part 2. And it's like, it's not the same thing. Like it's very odd to me when people see Halo or Gears of War, which Gears of War, they go for a much higher level of fidelity with their character models and their areas and things like that. But like it's odd to me when people see Halo, especially a Halo that we've known for a while, just through like leaks, rumors, and like mumbles and back alleys, like it's gonna be much bigger. It's gonna be that those levels like Halo and Silent Cartographer, whole game might be like that. Okay, well, crazy. Now people see a character model and go, doesn't quite look like Ellie from The Last of Us. And it's like, what? Why are we making this comparison? Like that doesn't.
Right.
I'm not gonna walk from Star Wars Force Awakens into Avengers and go, they're not quite the same things. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, or a better comparison might be instead of Star Wars, I'm not gonna walk from Moonlight into Avengers. Like they're not the same thing. Well, duh, they're not the same thing, right? Like,
yeah, but I mean, you also got to consider Microsoft is boasting about having the most powerful console.
that's true. That's true.
So it's like one of those things where it's like
facts, though. I mean,
it is. I mean, from a spec standpoint, absolutely. But what have we seen to say that it is at this?
When they revealed the console, they showed Hellblade 2.
Yeah.
Like,
That's why. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was saying, so when people, that's why it always shocks me when people say, well, it's supposed to have the most powerful console, and what have they shown that's meet the graphical fidelity of that expectation? It's like, well, when they revealed the console, they showed you Hellblade 2. And the only thing we've seen so far has just been that clip, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you can expect things just like with any generation, any console generation, whether it's 360, whether any generation, this one, Xbox One, PlayStation, all that stuff, games get progressively better as the generation goes along, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just look at it as like the same thing. This is the beginning of generation. Titles you will see games that look incredible on this system. I'm talking about stuff that you ain't ever seen before. How do I put this? Like, you'll see stuff that you ain't never experienced before as far as gameplay, mechanics, aesthetics, physics, things like that you're going to experience this generation coming up. It's specifically speaking to like load times. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like your expectation will begin to change, like on what you expect to see, how you expect for games to load and whatnot. It's mind blowing. And so I can't wait for people to experience it, because to me, I feel it's going to be like a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, I believe from a physics standpoint is going to be absolutely incredible, and from a technical standpoint, it's going to be great. Hellblade looks amazing. I was talking to Karaba about that earlier. We were in chat, and he was asking me, my thoughts on the whole 343 situation, and if Microsoft sort of held back at their event. And
I can speak to that a little bit. So as far as things that's shown, it's like you can only show what you're given in some instances, right? So
right.
Everybody with COVID and everything, people, it did have an impact on everybody. Development teams, people loading in dev kits and cars and trying to work from home all of a sudden. So it definitely impacted people. And so it's just that I understand the gamer expectation. Like even me, like I was watching the Halo Infinite demo, and I'm like, yo, the gameplay incredible. But the graphic fidelity, yes, of course, my expectation is through the roof, high. I want it to be fantastic. I want it to show well. I think that's just all. That's all it is. I mean, and so, I would just say for people, just give it time. You will see some things that meets that expectation. Is what I'm trying to harp on.
I'm glad you're preaching that, because I don't think a lot of people have patience, because I don't think a lot of people recognize the very unique situation that the Xbox is in, where they had a really hard time, and in that hard time, like Sony had a hard time last generation with the PS3, but they had games post 2007 to kind of back it up. Obviously, speaking as a fan, Microsoft didn't have as many games this generation, and they had to restructure. And throughout history, like I'm talking like 80s, 90s, when a company goes through something like this and has a hard time, granted the numbers don't back it up that this would happen, but I'm just speaking like maybe it's a little bit of hyperbole, but like when you have such a hard time and you lose so much trust, and you do so poorly compared to last time you released a product like that, you just don't get to do another one. The Dreamcast is an example. Obviously to a lesser extent, like the Atari Jaguar, it's not even close to as big of a failure as that, but they're going through a really unique time where they doubled down. They went, okay, that was a mess up, let's double down. So now those games are taking time to make, and people are going, well, where is it? You haven't shown me anything. It's like, games don't take a year and a half to make, dude.
Right. Games are hard.
Games take 5 years to make sometimes.
That's what I was saying about the event. You have all these people talking about they want to see gameplay from these games. I'm like, you do know they just got these studios in 2018, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Like
you don't make a
like
video game
2
in
years
2
old,
years.
right?
Mhm.
Right.
And
Like, how do you expect?
I say that's why I think games like Grounded and what was the other one, Bleeding Edge, are kind of amazing, right? Like
Yeah.
the teams
I've
are
been
relative.
saying that.
Yeah, the teams are relatively were able to like turn those around pretty quickly from acquisition. Like, yo, okay, we're gonna put something out like now. We
Right.
can have a small team churning on those while we work on our big,
Right.
AAA titles. It's awesome. Because I was playing Grounded and that game, it's addicting.
It's so
Like
fun.
Oh, we gonna get in the grounded.
you know what I mean? I'm just
We definitely
saying.
gonna get in the grounded. But yeah, so I'm like, you can't sit up here and talk about, like, I've had a big discussion with my man Showman Watson, who's on Twitter. Shout out to Showman. And he was upset because he wanted Microsoft to deliver some sort of big AAA, exclusive, whether it was third party, it didn't have
Like
to be.
Fable?
I thought they
Like
did.
Avowed?
No,
Yeah.
what he wanted was like, being that Halo didn't meet the expectations that he wanted. He wanted them to at least deliver something like an exclusive on the level of like Cyberpunk, like something big. Even though it didn't have to be first party, it didn't have to be a third person narrative game. It could have been anything, but it just had to be. And he wanted gameplay. And I'm trying to explain to him, like, you got to understand, Microsoft is making investments in their own for the first time. Like, for the first time.
Come on, Cal. Now
in
on this show
years.
specifically.
That's what I'm saying. For the first time in years, Microsoft is finally taking their money and making investments in their own first party.
Right.
Right.
Why would they turn around and start trying to stash a third party? It didn't work for them last gen. Why would it, why would they do it again? And everybody, I'm like, imagine if Phil was like, he's not going to show anything because it's not ready. We never knew Fable was coming. We didn't see Avowed. Like, we didn't see any of those games. The show would have been 10 times worse. Right. It would have been so much worse. So the fact that we even got title screens, I remember at one point when they did E3 last year, I was like, they could have just threw Fable up on the screen and I would have been happy.
Right. Yeah. Like Nintendo did that with what was it, Metroid?
Yeah, and people went crazy.
Like, and same thing with Bayonetta 3.
Yeah,
and you don't hear any feedback or any negative connotation associated with stuff like that. But when it comes to
Xbox,
I don't know, it's just weird. It's just weird.
Yeah. It's hard to say there's a bias because then people go, no, there isn't a bias. But it's like,
of course,
maybe I don't know. Maybe look at this again.
Yeah. Right. See, the thing is, though, because I vividly remember some people years ago saying Xbox needs to show something, whether it's a CGI trailer, whether it's a JPEG, something. Just announce the future, show their roadmap, and when when they do that, like last week when they actually did it, there was no gameplay.
Right.
It was only you're gonna hear that because as gamers, our expectation is always high. And what was interesting is in that show, if you pay attention, even Phil said, not Phil, it was Matt Booty who said that we still have 5 studios that hasn't even mentioned or showed what they're working on. Right. So some things still left to show, but as gamers, of course, we're gonna have opinions. We're gonna be like, "Oh, that's not enough," because it's never gonna be enough.
It's never enough. The goalposts are always going to move for the
exactly. But do you think? Okay, 2 years ago from today, I could have never think about even having Dragon Quest or Yakuza on Xbox.
Not even remotely. Yep.
So it's to me, it's like they're making strides. You can clearly see the strides, and then Game Pass, the value there is incredible. Like
absolutely.
Right. So let alone that Square game, Bayland Wonderworld. I never expected a game like that to be on that.
Right. I mean, yeah. What was the other one? Exomecha.
Yeah. Other game. Yeah. And then and that's what I was saying. I was like, when you combine that with what they showed in May. With the Medium, Scorn, and Bright Memory Infinite.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Ascent. Like, there was just there's a really lot of good games that's coming to next generation. And that's why I felt like after watching the PlayStation event and combining the May in the Xbox event, like, even if you don't get the big AAA titles at launch, you're getting Halo at least. You know what I'm saying? You got to wait for everything else. All the other games, those third-party games that are coming in exclusively, at least timed exclusively,
Medium.
Yeah, those are some really good games.
And I'm very excited for that launch. For the console too. So
Exactly. Very excited for the launch. But what makes it even special is the fact that
Game Pass.
you know what's crazy though? It's like Phil talked about how they were gonna take some time to release exclusives exclusively for the Series X for 1 or 2 years. So everybody's thinking all of these first party games are gonna come out on the Xbox One, right? And come to find out, the majority of the games ain't gonna come out on Xbox One. They're
Right.
actually gonna release exclusively for the Xbox Series X. So people are now upset that it's not coming out for the Xbox One. But
After they
prior to
complain
that,
about it.
exactly. So I just find it hilarious that
Man.
it's just a no-win situation sometimes with these people. But at the end of the day, they just did it so smart. Forza will be a next gen game. Fable, Avowed will be a next gen game. But you're talking about
K3.
State of Decay 3, which I truly hope that game it keeps its foundation, but really turns into like a big AAA type title.
I agree. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I get the style of like the smaller character and indie style type game, but I really feel like it's time for that game to grow up a little bit, even change it up, reboot it, but keep the same storyline or whatever. So, Karaba, you've been quiet. Is there anything you want to talk about? I know you had some questions about 343 when we was in the chat, and your concern about, whether or not Xbox is holding anything back, or 343's issues with development.
So here is the thing with what Delilah stated, that at the end of the generation, game will look way better than the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, we're going from, and I know teraflops are not the end all be all. We're going literally from 1.6 or 1.8 with PlayStation 4 teraflop all the way to 12 teraflop.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, as a gamer, you're going to expect bigger things. Because to me, and this is just my thing, and I really hate the vision that you want to cater to the gamers and limit yourself with the old hardware. Otherwise, what's the point of? So that's what I don't understand. It imagine if you had all that what Khalil was talking about, that you could be able to ride your banshee and travel from planet to planet. Look how
Yeah, that's
massively
incredible,
cool
right?
would that? How massively cool would that be? Like that's my biggest problem with this Halo Infinite. It could have been so much better, and I'm not talking about the whole issue with
The graphics.
no, it's not about the graphics. It's about the new thing that you can do that the older hardware can't do. Like for example, on the PlayStation 4, we have seen the whole SSD and the IO with the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Like they literally created a game specifically made to cater to what the PlayStation 5 can do. That's what I really wanted Halo Infinite to be. And this was really a missed opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, see, well, I like when people bring that up as far as like, oh, Ratchet and Clank showed the power of the SSD with the PlayStation 5. And it's like, people forget that Microsoft showed the quick resume between the titles on their YouTube channel. It's like all these features you will see everything come together quite nicely and it all makes sense. But
And the medium running two different worlds at once.
right, simultaneous
Right.
switch between, like, it's
You
kind
know,
of
but
neat,
the
right?
medium is also going to come to the PlayStation 4, or the PlayStation 5, I mean.
I think what he's saying is that because Halo was on the Xbox One, there there's a missed opportunity where you
he's
could have done
saying,
certain
okay,
things
yeah.
with Halo
Yeah.
with the Xbox Series X that you just can't do now because it just can't hit that scope on the Xbox One,
So
like the original
he's
Xbox.
thinking that the Xbox One is bringing down the
Right,
possibility of being
right.
able
Because like they
okay.
said, like you like because the Xbox One doesn't allow the Banshee to go from one end of the Halo to the other. They broke it down into islands now. So now you can fly or travel from one island to the other compared to traveling from one end of the Halo to the other side of the Halo ring. So they had compromises to the game. Whereas if you just made it for Series X, you probably wouldn't have had to compromise. I think that's the point that he's trying to make. And I get where he's coming from in that regard. And I feel like, yeah, I think we all would love something like that for Microsoft and for Xbox and for a next gen Halo. But I look at it from the perspective that I think Microsoft trying to end the generation on a good note. They're trying to end the Xbox One with some quality titles, and releasing Halo at the end of the generation for the Xbox, at the beginning of the generation for the Series X is going to be cool. You got to also keep in mind that this is going to be a 10-year game. Pretty much, we're not getting another Halo after this, so there's probably going to be a ton of upgrades and things they'll add to the game over time. Maybe we'll get some features that just won't be implemented at some point on the Xbox One and only be on the Xbox Series X at some point. And I would hope that would happen at some point.
And you get to dip into the existing pool of people who own Xbox Ones who bought Xboxes for Halo. They bought it for Chief Collection. They have Halo 5. They have Halo Wars 2. Now they want Infinite because they have Xboxes and probably like Halo. And they're going to go out and spend $60 on that game. And you don't have to go and tell them, hey, wait in line to try to get a Series X. And there might not be one. Go and work your heart out this holiday to go find a system when everyone knows it's hard as hell to find new systems when they come out to go play the new Halo. They're not that doesn't make sense to me to limit how much money you can make off of a game.
And I don't know console players, won't care about this, but MCC is doing fantastic on PC. So
yes,
even that audience too. I mean, y'all.
Microsoft is doing phenomenal on PC. I definitely want to talk about that. And I'm a PC hater. I still hate PC. But anyway,
I prefer console all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all day.
And then finally, before we jump out of this subject, I just want to talk about, because I know we also talked about how how Microsoft may have held some things back. And I kind of, because a lot of people was like, why we didn't get Hellblade 2? Why we didn't show Hellblade 2 after we seen it at the Video Game Awards? Everybody want to see Hellblade 2. And in my opinion, if you're showing the Xbox off in August, you got to have games to show on the platform. You can discuss the platform. Like when I think about when they showed the Xbox, the OG Xbox One, the OG Xbox One reveal was completely separate from the E3 reveal. I think they had that reveal in May, and then E3 was in June.
It was like 2 weeks later, yeah.
Yeah. And and obviously that didn't go over well back then with Don Matrick and that debacle.
You gotta do the whole 2013 history lesson every time.
Yeah, I don't want to discuss.
I don't understand that. I don't understand why people still
don't have
doing
internet. We have a system for you. It's called the Xbox.
I guess I don't understand. Every show does that. They go into the 2013 history lesson like no black people don't forgot. Like no one forgot.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Oh yes, but I mean, we all know like that was 7 years ago. Can we?
You know how bad it was? So bad it had a soccer TV show, bro. Nobody watched that show, son.
It was actually good though. I actually checked it out years ago.
They was actually going to have TV shows. Even PlayStation had TV show for a little while. That Powers, then they kind of just disappeared.
That show was bad. If we're going to talk about bad TV shows,
I don't know what these companies were thinking back then. When you really think about it, that's just crazy.
And look, I was going to say real quick on it. It's crazier when you realize in 2012, 13, they were trying to get into TV and interfacing with the cable box. When that was dying, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it didn't make sense at all. But but look, we're here, 7 years later, and
still bringing it up.
Nah, it's not so much that.
I just get frustrated every time I hear it.
It's talking about the growth,
I think Microsoft is on a much better track with much better leadership. this time around, obviously. But when you show the Xbox Series X, you got to have something to show. And I just feel like Hellblade 2 is that game.
Yeah.
You're showing off the power, you're showing off the graphics, you're showing off what this console can do. I heard that they are already out there scanning Iceland. Obviously, you've seen the new
Pixel scans, Unreal Engine 5.
Using Unreal Engine 5, which is amazing. So you know this game is going to look incredible graphically.
Mhm.
I just think that's the game that they show. I'm pretty sure they're going to have maybe a small vertical slice of the game, and we'll be able to see it. Now, whether they show other stuff, like I don't think NXL is ready to show their new game. You know, they'll have Wasteland. I did hear that Compulsion may have something.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the process of expanding right now too. I think they hired, I want to say 20 to 30 people, and they're getting new like areas, like they're expanding their work area, and then they have more openings ready. So whatever they're doing is going to be much bigger than what they did before. Obviously, that's exciting.
Judging from what they showed, like what was it last Thursday? So like the 5 cities I think they didn't talk about, where it's like the Age of Empires team,
right?
Coalition,
right?
Compulsion.
Initiative.
I'm telling you right now, Coalition comes out with a new game. I want to check.
Why?
Because I've been talking about Coalition making a new game.
Look, just let me say something. Just because you say it don't mean that you influenced it. They only
Are we
talking about a non-gear game? Because I would love that.
I influenced that, and I influenced
what if you meet the team and they be like, we don't know you, bro?
Yeah.
Like,
they've been listening. I was harassing the hell out of Rod when he was here.
Oh, that's
funny. I was harassing Phil too. I had so much. I was harassing the hell out of him. I was sending him DM.
You know, it's all jokes.
I know. No, but the Coalition definitely needs. I hope they make a new game. I think Gears needs a break.
They should make Perfect Dark.
They should make something new. I really believe they need to make just a new game and let them expand their wings. And you can, because I just feel like when you allow a studio to make something else besides the same franchise, you get creative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you get creative, you come up with new ideas, and then those new ideas may be implemented in your other game. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like they should make something new. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of people just want the Coalition to be the Coalition, but I feel like they should be able to make something. But like you said, the what's that studio? The
Compulsion?
No, you got Compulsion, the Coalition, who?
The Initiative.
The Initiative. Oh, we definitely not gonna see nothing from the Initiative.
Wait, hold on now. Matt Booty did say they will show their game in 2020.
Did he?
Yeah. He said that last year. He said it last year.
I thought he was talking about Playground. I don't remember him saying the Initiative. I didn't. I definitely don't think the Initiative to have anything. I know they have something playable, but I just figured it was like some,
I'm gonna say it right now. I don't know. All right,
Delilah, stop lying.
Want to make sure I put that on record.
I'm lying.
I don't know.
She's lying. You can't trust her. She works for Microsoft. Anyway, listen. I feel like the Initiative, if they do show up, I will be mind blown.
Mm-hmm. They should just do the logo drop like Metroid Prime 4.
The Initiative and Hellblade show up at the same time, I will be because I know the Initiative got something crazy.
Yeah,
I know they got something crazy. The team that they put together over there is like an all-star team.
Uh-huh.
Like out of all the studios, like I've seen Microsoft and the other studios hire people here and there, but I've watched the Initiative hire their people and seen who they brought in, and they literally snatched up like the best quality people you could find in California. You know what I'm saying? Like from Sony, and they right next to Sony Santa Monica. Or what was it? Naughty Dog too. They've been snatching people up left and right out of there. So I know for a fact that team is like crazy incredible. The rumor was that they had a game that had to do something with like cameras. That's the rumor. Well, that's what I heard last.
Cameras?
Yeah, like I don't know what they mean by cameras. Maybe like spy cameras or something like that. I don't know personally. A lot of people feel like it's Perfect Dark. I don't think it's Perfect Dark. It could be Perfect Dark because there's a Twitter handle for Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
I would hate for it to be Perfect Dark. I would hope the Coalition is doing Perfect Dark and they would be making a new IP, but you just never know. But Hellblade 2 would be Hellblade 2 is the big third-party action narrative game. Initiative I know is going to be working on a third-person action narrative game. You got Compulsion, which we have no idea what they're going to make.
Well, it is a third-party. I'm sorry, a third-person game. Yeah,
third-person game. Okay. Who else we missing? We got the guys who make the Age of Empires, right? But that's a PC title. World's Edge, and then Microsoft Global Publishing, right?
Yeah, and like Mojang,
Oh yeah, Mojang.
And Mojang's making several games. They said after Minecraft Dungeons came out, they had a lot of projects in the works. So
really, as long as they don't make that game, what's that game, Delilah? Cobalt. Remember Cobalt?
Cobalt. Oh yeah.
That game was terrible. I hope they don't ever make nothing like that again.
Hey Cal, I left you with DM showing that Matt Booty actually said that.
Okay,
the initiative games will be shown off this year. Yeah.
All right,
cool. Count the receipts.
Yeah,
no, I need to see those type of things because I don't. Sometimes I hear things, sometimes I don't. But I'm glad if that's the truth, that would be the perfect time to do it.
Well, that was like before COVID too. So
yeah, I mean,
when he said that,
it would be incredible if they did though. Honestly,
yeah.
And then you got Microsoft Global Publishing, which does like second party deals and stuff. So I would love for them to do something with an amazing third party, as long as it's not Recore. I'll be happy.
I love Recore.
Did you hear?
I love Recore, man.
I finished Recore. I love Recore.
Armature said they'd love to do Recore too,
and I wish they would.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
I heard that,
and I shared that with a few people.
Yeah, honestly.
I can see you.
I think there's a second chance. Recore has a cool premise. I don't love the game, but another one might.
I think so too.
If they put some money behind that,
yes,
like get rid of the Unity engine.
It reminds me of Metroid.
Quantum Break is the better game.
Yeah,
it just.
I like Quantum Break also, but I like
Quantum Break
better.
Recore is too generic.
Oh.
How?
It is. The enemies are too generic.
How much have you played? 20 minutes?
70% of the game. I played 70%.
It's not. I'm sorry. We can debate this all day because I
what's generic about that game is the combat. Like that became tedious as hell. That's why I wasn't able to
first of all, it's too much damn sand. Okay.
Okay. So
the platforming is incredible.
Okay. I guess for me, that's it. That's it for me. The traversal, like in the platform, is incredible.
Look, I'll give you that. Like the whole little track thing, that's cool.
And then the various bots, you use to get certain items, find cores that's buried on the ground. Use the 8 bot to tear down walls. Like to me, it has legs. Basically, the IP itself has legs.
Absolutely, it has a lot of potential.
It needs to be like Mega Man. You can't give me 2 bots, send me across the map, and now I can't enter something because I don't have the bot with me, and I gotta travel.
I feel like that was just a technical limitation.
That's the only problem.
Yeah, I feel like that was a technical limitation, not so much just.
That's not the only problem. That is not that game. There's just so many. By the time I was like 70% in that game. Once I got to one dungeon. And it was like, I need a flying robot. I was like, hell no. I turned that joint.
I'm not going back to get the flying robot.
It was too much.
It was a fast travel, man.
When you kill
now with the update, you can change your bots at the door.
Yeah, you can.
With the update,
what makes it worse is when you kill enemies and you leave an area and they come back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, like you slowing me down. Like I got
the same thing like Bloodborne or
it's old school. There we go.
It's like Bloodborne or any From Software game. Same thing.
All right, look. In order to improve this game, they need.
I want to ask this. Sorry for interrupting. What happened because he talked about Bloodborne? What happened to Elden Ring? We heard literally nothing from it.
I haven't heard anything about Elden Ring.
They're making it.
I think Microsoft has the marketing rights to it because the last time we saw it, I'm not 100% sure on that. But
who's the publisher for that game? Do we know?
Bandai Namco.
Okay.
Who?
Bandai Namco.
Oh, Bandai Namco, and it's being written by
George R.R. Martin. So we might not ever see it.
We ain't never gonna see that game, bro. He can't even finish. We ain't never gonna see that game. It was like crazy, but I mean, I heard that game's supposed to be something special. We'll see. We'll definitely
Games
see.
Maybe-
take time, man. That's the thing.
Maybe we'll see it in August. Who knows?
Maybe. You
Right.
never know. I mean, August event coming up. PlayStation got their event coming up first, I think.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think so.
if the rumor is true that I read today, oh my
What's
god!
that rumor?
The Silent Hill game is going to be shown.
Okay.
Wait, a lot of games.
I don't even care about Silent Hill. I don't care about no horror games whatsoever.
Yeah, of course, it's you.
Somebody tried to get me to play Medium today. I was like, hell
Dude,
no.
I don't like horror games either, but I got a potato chip bet. If you watch our show, you know about potato chip bets. But I got a potato chip bet to play Medium all the way through. Recorded, and I'm scared already, fam.
That's a terrible bet, bro. I don't even know why you took that bet, sis. Like,
Dude, I regretted it as soon as the show was over. It's
I will
like,
never take another horror
look,
bet
I
again.
told my husband about it. He just bust out laughing.
That's crazy.
So it's just like,
I can't
you
do
really
it.
doing this? So like,
I
yeah.
can't do it.
Come
I'm
on, Dad.
scared at the spider and grounded. You think I'm going to play the Medium?
Oh man,
Dude.
It's crazy.
I mean when I was
Play
younger.
it.
No,
I mean I was younger. I
can't.
didn't like those
I
type of
gotta,
games.
if I play a horror game, I
Understand
gotta
it.
play for like money. I gotta get some Kid Smooth stuff.
I
Like,
can't handle horror as well, but you know what pushed me? The concept of being able to control two characters at the same time in the medium. I'm
Yeah,
super
that's
hyped
gonna be
about
cool.
that. But myself, I can't handle horror for the life of me.
Yeah.
So it's
I
going
could
to be
watch
a very
horror. Oh my
challenge
goodness.
to
Yeah,
play
play
it.
Yeah, now I could watch like Aliens and stuff. Like Aliens is my favorite movie of all time, but I can't play Alien Isolation. Like I could watch Predator. It's like in my top 5 action films, but I can't.
You're not
Predator I
playing
could
the game.
probably play. It's not that bad, but Aliens, I can't play Aliens, bro.
Yeah.
That's just too much. All right, let's move on. So Grounded has hit Steam and has released on Xbox. And I'll be honest with you, started the game. I said I'm just gonna go ahead and try it out. You know, I think everybody's negativity got to me over time. Like Grounded is a kiddie game. Nobody wants to play the
Pass
game.
fodder.
Yeah, Game Pass fodder.
The dumbest phrase I hear regularly.
I turned the game on. I started the game. 7 hours later,
Yep.
I didn't get off the game. The game is really, really good. You know, I'll be honest with you. It's a horror game for kids. It truly is.
It is. Yeah.
It truly is a
It's
horror
scary.
game. For kids.
Game's
It's scary. It was funny because I remember it was nighttime and I was waiting for night to end. I was like, this is the longest night of any game.
You couldn't wait for it to end.
Like, yeah, I was like, why is it taking so long? They was like, yo, just go to sleep. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
man.
yeah.
That's what I do. I started going to sleep like bumping. I'm not even gonna try to mess with at night because those wolf spiders.
Yeah, they ain't no joke. And what's crazy is the game don't even have half the bugs in it yet. Like I heard they're implementing a whole
It's a lot. It's a
of
lot. It's
bugs and
so.
yeah, and you know, so it's like it's pretty cool, man. The way they have everything set up so far, I've been able to build a nice little fort. I got some armor finally. I picked up some weapons. I wound up getting the bow and arrow. Finally, got that going, and it's cool because it was slow, like little things I didn't really think about. Like there's a science lab that's in the dry grass area, but it's surrounded by 3 stink bugs.
I
And
know,
you
man.
can't
Oh my
get
God.
to it. But if you build a lure trap, you put the lure trap across from it and turn it on and run, all 3 of the bugs will run to the lure trap and open up the science lab. So you can then run in there and get what you need to get or whatever.
Spoiler alert.
So I just thought it was dope. Like, oh man, that's pretty cool that they have these little features. There's a lure trap arrow too. Like you can take an arrow and shoot it, and the bugs will chase the arrow. So I thought that was pretty cool too.
You got to be careful with your spoiled meat too. They can lure other bugs to you. 'Cause you know how you got the spoiled meat. Like make sure you destroy your spoiled meat. Like don't keep it around. Like don't just drop it on the ground because it'll bring bugs to wherever you. It'll draw bugs to you.
Yeah,
I think it's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's what happened to me in the first time I started playing because I had built the fort, and then I seen an ant, and I was like, "How'd you get in here?" So I killed the ant, right? And you know it was all cool. And then like 3 more ants came, so I killed 3 more ants. So then I could hear like them on the outside of my door, and I'm like, "Why is there so many ants?" I go outside, There was the soldier scared the hell out of me. I said, "Oh shit! Look how big that head is!" And ran back inside. And the ants came in, and I got killed. And I was just like, "Yo, this is crazy!" Like, it's very, very
you
surprising.
get the ants in packs, it's a wrap. Like it's no, you have to just run. There's no way around it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a really fun game, and when you play with people, it's even better.
Yes, it is.
Even better.
What a squad,
It's really good. So, I feel like Grounded, it's going to turn out to be a really good game. It's obviously the number one selling game on Steam, which is incredible, and then it's the number 2 most watched game on Twitch.
Tell him, man, Obsidian,
which is incredible. Microsoft, they said, has 3 of the top 4 games on Steam is from Microsoft.
I thought it was more than that, actually. So I think
I don't know.
I think it's four now because of the flight.
It's Flight Simulator.
Yeah, 4 of the top 5.
Yeah, and I was shocked because didn't Horizon Zero Dawn just release?
No,
it's coming out soon.
It's not released. It's about
not yet. Yeah.
What's called mouth pre-order, but not released.
Pre-order. Okay.
What's released is Death Stranding, and Death Stranding is not a game you should watch. It's a game you should play.
Right.
Because watching it is boring, but playing it is something else.
Right.
I balance those boxes.
So I just find it amazing that you have Grounded and Sea of Thieves and Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think MCC is I don't know if MCC is up there, but I know
it's still in there.
Yeah. I'm just really impressed that Microsoft and their PC debuts are really starting to pay off on Steam. And it's funny because I used to laugh at the fact that they put these games on Windows. I'm like, no one's going to Windows to buy these games. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just not going to do it. You got a fan base with Steam, and people truly are invested in Steam. You see them always talk about put the games on Steam, and now Microsoft is finally doing it, and you're starting to see that success hit the platform and those games. And I think that's going to be huge for them going forward. It really is. And the smartest thing they could have done was switch from having games in Windows to purchase to going with Game Pass. And having Game Pass as the entryway for Xbox. You still can buy games for Windows, but having Game Pass as the entryway for the Windows side of things, and then having Steam for the sales side of things, it looks like it's really working out for them.
Yeah, and for PC, the game bar is pretty good too. Like, people forget like that when you hit Win G on your keyboard and you playing PC, like all the features you get for PC players. I mean, they did a really good job of catering to that audience. So I think it's paying dividends now. So.
Right, absolutely. What are some of y'all experiences with Grounded so far? Anything crazy happen?
With me, I haven't played a lot of it, but I had went in the cave and I didn't realize I didn't craft a torch. So I couldn't see a thing in that cave, and I was literally scared to death. I said, "Oh, let me get out." Let me get out of here. But yeah, I haven't played a lot, but the game actually, the graphics is actually pretty good, for a game like that.
Yeah.
And I haven't played a lot of it, but I'm enjoying it so far.
What about you, D?
Well, you already know I love the game. I mean, it's great. It's like I said, it's very addictive. I mean, and I'm not even a huge fan of survival games. Like, I typically complain about that game, but it's something about it that's keeping me coming back to it. It's whether I think it's more so it's not just about having to eat and drink water and stuff like that. You're still building a fort, and it's like it has that. It taps into my creative juices, and so adding that element to the game was to me is just brilliant, because that's the thing that attracts me more than just, I gotta get water, or I gotta find food, or now to the point where I'm like stocking food elements and stocking water, because like I'm trying to survive, but really I just want to build my house. Like I just want to build my fort. Right. So I mean, it's a great game, and I think right now this is only the beginning of that. I think I could easily see Grounded growing into something much larger.
Right. Definitely.
What about you, Cam?
I usually don't like games like that either. the only survival game that's ever resonated with me is Minecraft, and that's because I have one specific friend that I would play Minecraft with, and he would be the creative mind, and I would just be like, okay, I'm gonna go get cobblestone. There's something about Grounded where I like it. It clicked with me pretty early on. I think it's because it's easy to do everything. You just have to have like the materials in order to make things, and then the game will have like a little thing in the UI, like a bouncing exclamation point. Like, you can make woven fiber now. Go ahead, do that. Now we have woven fiber. You can make bandages to heal yourself. Cool, do that. And I really like how accessible it is in that way, that I don't have to worry too much about not knowing recipes. Things like the analyzer, taking it there and then they're telling you this is all the stuff you can make with this, is really helpful. Not needing to find like a guide online, like that's stuff that I didn't really expect for that game to have on day one. Since it is like a game preview game and they're going to be doing big updates over time, but it does, and that's really nice.
And one thing I want to add too is like, and you could kind of tell from just playing the game, is that it's not like a just how do I put this? It has some story to it. Like that is the thing. It's not just, oh, you playing a survival game and you got to survive like the elements. It's just you still have objectives. There's still a story. You're still trying to figure out what's going on. So it's like all of this combined into one. And I think that you can from this, like you could see that, I mean, possibly it can influence other survival games of doing similar things. Of like, oh, let's put a story on top of this, or let's try to progress the player from A to Z. I like the fact that it's kind of like a closed loop. I love it. I think that's a good.
I love the I don't want to call it dynamic, but the way the spiders act is like, I definitely ran into some stuff where it's like, oh, that spider's just walking into a stalk of grass. I'm cool. I'm gonna get out of here. But that's that's gonna get ironed out. Otherwise, it's like it's fun to like
AI.
The AI of the spider is just like, we were in the when you clear out the thing. The laser obstructions, and then there's that big explosion at the base of the tree. And you go there and you find the big science base. Spoilers, I'm sorry, I should have said it beforehand. But there's a way out from that little like base, because like a broken window, and then you can go into an abandoned anthill. And me and a couple of my friends were like going out that way, and there was a spider, and the spider killed one of my friends, so we all backed up. Like the other three of us backed up, and we were like, okay, we got to go that way. We have to go that way. That's the only way back out. Okay, so we got to kill this damn spider right now. Okay, we all got like our spears and whatever else out. And my friend who was like leading the charge, we rolled up and he was like, I can't do this, and he ran away. I was like, okay, I gotta go too, and I ran with him. And one of my friends, she like found like a little crevice in the cave and like hid there, and the spider chased me and my other friend out, and she just dipped out of there, and while the spider was chasing us. And it's just like, that's a really cool moment that I didn't expect for this game to offer to me.
Are we talking about Grounded?
Yeah.
And we're talking about Grounded. Is this diabetic gaming? This trash game? Is it charting on Steam? Are people actually enjoying?
I'm just excited for
enjoying this game.
I mean, can we say that Grounded has that? It has that Sea of Thieves effect, creative stories from it.
Bro, I was surprised at all the positive feedback I've seen. Man, I've seen a lot of people streaming. I've seen like 3,000, 15,000 people watching streams on this game. And the only downfall is that some parts of the game you can't go to. I'm gonna boot it up tonight for the first time, but people was craving more content. That's the only thing. They was like, man, I wish it was more content. But that shows you how when you get that when they start building around it and adding to it, like Delilah was saying, it's gonna have that Sea of Thieves impact. The more content it has, the more it's gonna grow, and the bigger the player base is gonna get. But that's the only knock I got on it in terms of the feedback I heard from a lot of people is that they wanted more content.
Yeah, that's part of being.
I saw somebody trying to get to the picnic table, but it had a line that said "under construction."
Right.
But he was trying to make it to the picnic table, though.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like there's a door in the wall, but the door is sealed, and you can't get it. It says locked. You know what I'm saying? And that's like where my base is. I'm all the way like close to the house, but I'm like against a stone wall. So if you go to one end of the stone wall, like right next to where not the orange tree where the acorns are, but there's a green tree or like a green bush in the back. There's a wall over there and there's a door, like a little, like a mouse hole at first. And you go inside, there's actually a door. So it's locked. So I'm like, man, I could imagine what they'll implement in the game over time. You know, if they start giving you like that's the type of game where it's like they give you mounts and you can get bees. You know, you hop on a bee mount, you can fly around.
Little potential is crazy.
I was swimming in the water and I was like, there's nothing in here. Wait till they start putting koi in this thing. You know what I'm saying? They start putting goldfish in the lake, you know, or like water bugs. Like I could just imagine maybe you have a mantis as a mount and you're running around. Like, bro, the possibilities are endless for this game, and I the potential is there. So I think if you're playing the game now, building your base and building your supplies is probably the best thing you can do.
Dude, you know my favorite thing about Grounded, believe it or not, is the juice box, man.
The juice box?
Juice box. Because it drop like over time it drops out juice.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And it heals it's like it supplies water and a little bit of food.
Yeah.
So I built my base like by a juice box.
Right. I'm gonna use that resource.
Yeah. I got the dew nets. So every morning,
so you get water every morning.
We got 2 of them. We get like 8 drops of water. So it was like we're never thirsty. I just wish I need to find something though for like food. Like if they can have some type of storage unit for food, that's the next big thing that we need.
Yeah,
so that way food doesn't
because I keep having to harvest the mushrooms, man. Like
mushroom. Oh, you know what works really good? The acorns.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah,
the little yeah.
Eat those, you can stack those up. Those heal you actually
I'm a
better.
weevil man myself. I like hunting weevil and roasting.
Yes, it's hard. The weevils are easy to get. Those are the other little green ones.
The aphids? Oh,
man, those aphids.
They fill you up. One bite.
Yeah, they're good.
The game is good, man. I like the game. I really appreciate what they did.
I got one question for you.
Yeah,
Cal. What day are you on, and how long have you been playing?
I'm on day 18.
Jeez. Oh wow! And how many hours have you put into Grounded?
I don't even know. I didn't even look at the hours, honestly. I haven't looked at the hours yet, but I know it said day 18 the last time I saved it.
I think I was on like day 4. You really like that game, man.
Bro, when I play RPGs and survival games, I be on them joints. Like for real. I be on them for hours. You know what I'm saying? Like I send my kids upstairs and have no idea what they're doing. My wife will come home. She'd be like, "What did you do all day? Did you see upstairs?" I'm like, I tried. I tried. I don't know.
Leaning back over the couch, looking upstairs. Hey, stop that up there.
Yeah.
I know.
My wife will call me and she'd be like, "I'm on my way home." I'm like, "Oh, word? Like, where you at? How much time I got? Because I gotta get these dishes in the dishwasher and go upstairs and make sure that everything is."
I figured when you had the little dew net that you was pretty far along. I'm like, yo, because it takes a while to get that spider little piece that you need to even craft the dew net.
The web.
It's not bad. You know what I do? I kind of like lure the spiders into the stink bugs because stink bugs be wrecking the spiders.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I lure the spider into the stink bug fight, and they die. And then you just kill the spider, get their webs, and then everything else is easy. Once you get those dew nets, you never run out of fresh water. Never. Yeah. I mean, they drop it's like 4 per net. So I'd be having like 8 drops of water all the time. It's pretty dope.
I mean, it's a team too.
I'm saying that's the thing with Grounded. It's like it has its own ecosystem that's happening while you're
while you're in there. It's pretty dope.
I'm definitely excited to play. I'm gonna hop on it with a couple other guys. And
it's definitely great with friends too. Like y'all can plan out your station and all that.
Even he was like, "Man, it's dope." I'm like, "Well, we're gonna hop on it tonight." And
I'm looking for 2 more people to join up on my joint. It's just me and one other guy for now. So trying to get a 4-man squad up.
Whenever you're ready.
I bet. Definitely. We're gonna try to do that after the show.
I have my kids in the room, they be in there arguing, fighting. I'll be like, yeah, okay, stop. You know what I'm saying? And still be playing the game, they still be in there fighting, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then have them face the corner, put them in the corner, face the wall. Turn on TV, ain't no game, ain't no internet or nothing. Okay. You get real quiet then.
So with that being said, obviously Obsidian had a great show, and they had presented some interesting titles. Obviously, they've gone ahead. They have the Outer Worlds, which is to me a great game. Seen the DLC come out. They announced that, so that's going to be really interesting. You guys get back into the Outer Worlds, but again, that's a multi-plat that's being published by Private Division, and that's cool that Microsoft still allowed them to do that. And then on the flip side, obviously we have Grounded, which has been met with great success, and now we have Avowed, which takes place in the world of Pillars of Eternity.
Yeah.
And I tried playing Pillars of Eternity, and I can tell you right now that game, not that it's a bad game, but it is definitely a PC RPG.
I started it recently too. It is. It totally is.
It is so difficult for me to play because you have to move your character and move the screen at the same time. I like just doing that alone is draining. So I don't know if I'll be able to finish it or even continue playing it. But I wanted to really learn about the world, so maybe I'll just YouTube it and figure it out from there.
More videos, yeah.
Yeah, but Avowed looks really good, and I've been hearing rumors. So I won't say rumors, but I've been hearing around town that people now feel like that Obsidian has surpassed Bethesda.
Whoa.
And I don't know yet, because Bethesda has produced some amazing games over the years, but they feel like Outer Worlds has surpassed Fallout. They feel like Grounded has surpassed Fallout 76. And now you have Avowed, which may or may not, I guess you could say, compete or surpass Elder Scrolls, depending on how the game releases and how it is when it launches. Do you guys feel like Obsidian is on the verge of surpassing Bethesda?
On the verge, I guess maybe, but we gotta see Avowed. We gotta see, like some more of their games, so before we just say they're better,
Wait. Obsidian surpassing who?
Bethesda.
I will say yes. And I said it on the fact that a lot of Bethesda games.
We're talking specifically about Bethesda Game Studios, not the publisher Bethesda, right?
Yeah, like Bethesda, as the guys who develop
Fallout. Yeah, not yet.
They coding ain't too copacetic over there. No, I'll go with Obsidian on this one.
Hey, it's not great with Obsidian in some places either. There was some stuff in Outer Worlds that was weird that happened.
Well, we're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Xbox all the way,
man. Team Green, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Post.
That's how we gonna do that. Huh?
Hey, Post, man, I'm glad you're back, man. You had me scared for a second after the show last week.
Look, I went to a dark place for a minute. I had to, find myself. I had to find the green light again, but
don't let the ponies influence you, man.
Look, I understand. Look, man, Halo has been going through a lot of stuff over the years. I think sometimes you're oblivious to some of the things that peek out or come out. And then you got this whole pandemic thing that's going on. You've had directors leave. You have some of the leads that left. And then at one point they had issues with the direction that they wanted the game to go in. From what I'm hearing, but they finally got a solid on that. I don't know if it's true in terms of the information that came out about them starting on Unreal Engine 4 first and then moving it over to the Slip Space engine. But if that's true, then you kind of get an understanding or an indicative of what the game is at right now. I do think what has been shown is that we're looking at the Halo that was started on the base model Xbox, because I don't even think they had dev kits for the Series X around the time that they started developing the game. And I do think that people don't realize how much energy and time it takes to build a whole new engine from the ground up. So I think a lot of resources went there, but that was needed because the old technology kind of hampered them from doing a lot of things. And I think it kind of messed with their workflow too. I think Halo is still going to come out and be a great game gameplay wise. I think the visuals is going to I think the visuals are still gonna look great. Is it gonna look mind blowing? No, artistically, Halo has never looked mind blowing. That's just the way it's the way its art is. You know what I'm saying? Halo is Halo. You know what I'm saying? But I don't worry about how Halo looked, and I kind of got away from that. The gameplay for me has always been what Halo's been about. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, as long as they have that, then I'm good. Halo looks like Halo. You know, it's never been this game that looks like real life or anything like that. It's always had its own art direction, and sometimes that art direction take away from how people want the game to look. But hey, gameplay overlooks.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say, I just back to the Bethesda thing. I think that Obsidian really has the opportunity to surpass them. Obviously, you think about Dishonored, which I think is an amazing franchise. And where they took those 2 games, plus the DLC was really, really good. I played both of them. I think
they have what's called Doom as well?
No, that's id. That's ID.
No,
Okay.
but like Dishonored is Arcane.
Yeah.
Arcane. Yeah, that's not like Bethesda.
That's Arcane. Right.
Arcane. Yeah.
I heard some things about Bethesda, but I'll talk about that after the show.
Arcane also does.
They did Prey.
Prey, right? Yeah.
They did Prey. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, well, if I take away that, then yeah, I want Obsidian surpass Bethesda. Yeah, I mean, when you start really thinking about it, I can't really, because listen, the one thing I get Bethesda is they got some amazing parties. I'll tell you right now, if you ever go to E3, their parties are absolutely incredible. You know, if you ever get lucky enough to be invited to one of their events, you know, the last 2 or 3 years that we've gone, and we were in there, man. I mean, they had a party. I think the first time we went, they had a party in an airplane hangar.
What?
Yeah, it was fire. It was crazy though, because I remember going, and the seats were so tight. And I was there. It was me, the old team, Anchorman was there, Iron Lords were there, and it was funny because Anchorman sat in front of Phil Spencer and Aaron Greenberg and them. And me and King were sitting next to each other. They these seats were super tight. But it was dope because we got to see Unreal Tournament and all that stuff like that. So then afterwards, they shuffle you out to this other area. And in the other area, they had like this crazy party going on, bro. They were serving like Prey ice cream, and the ice cream was black, but it's like vanilla. So it was like crazy. And then they had like whole chicken legs you can eat.
Oh, yeah.
It was popcorn and just all like they had like a Prey horror museum, like a horror house or whatever. Then they had like a game area. They had a candy. It was so fire. They had a Fallout candy tray. So like, you know, the Fallout Boy statue, they had like a big statue that's almost like 4 or 5 feet, and around it was a dish with candies from the 80s, Chico sticks, and like Now-a-laters. It was just like crazy. I was like, oh my god, this is insane. And then everybody was there. I had a picture with Morgan Webb and Adam Sessler.
Oh,
yeah, I got pictures with them. Todd was there. I was named Todd Howard, I think his name is, developer for Fallout.
Yeah,
I got to meet a lot of people from like G4 who was there. Like a lot of people from G4 was there. I can't remember most of their names, but if you could think about them, they were there and everything. And then me and Jeff Keighley got a weird relationship. It's weird. Like I don't think people really understand how like me and Jeff Keighley, how cool we were at one point. He would literally DM me randomly and ask me what have me and Phil talked about. I'm like, bro, I don't even know Phil like that. To be like, like, he's like, yo, you hear anything from Phil? Any new games coming out from Phil? I'm like, Phil came on the show one time, bro. Like, I don't know Phil like that. Like, we cool, we talk, but we ain't talking like that. So I just found it really funny. But when he sees me at these events, he always hits me up. He taps with me or whatever and everything like that. So, you know, he was there and everything. But then this next year, what was crazy was they made it into an amusement park. So then when you go in there, they had it was like Bethesda land, and they had a Ferris wheel. Was it a Ferris wheel? Yeah, like a Ferris wheel and a whole bunch of other stuff, and it was crazy. But they had like the Mexican corn and everything, and then they had oh my god, what's the name of that group at the end?
In sync.
No, not they had something cigarettes. I forget the name of this group. Oh my god. I can't remember the name of the group, but they're a very popular group, and they were there, and I was shocked. I was like, "Wow!" They threw a whole concert. It was insane. It was dope. I'm like, "Yo," but
they go out for their stuff. They E3, they always, they parties and stuff be dope.
The funny thing about it was they did all of that and only showed like 3 trailers. like they did the whole thing and
This
showed
was what 2018. This was what 2018.
Yeah. They showed like the work. They had like the Elder Scrolls card game, and then they had some other stuff. It just was like,
Yeah, so for them, it's always been about like engaging with people while they're there. I think they had already given up on. Okay, we're gonna show a bunch of games, blah blah, because the reactions is always mixed.
Avoid Ubisoft events. Their events are boring. We literally fell asleep at Ubisoft's event. We left midway through the show. It was so bad. It was really, really bad. We was like, oh my god, we can't do it. It was terrible. But Microsoft shows are dope. I know Delilah know about those, and then you got the fan events, which is pretty dope as well. And then Sony is just hard to get into. Sony's hard to get into. PC is free, and then overall you just got E3, and E3 is cool. And then you just got LA. LA is cool.
LA is very cool.
Food. Oh my gosh.
LA is amazing. I love Korean barbecue. I got to live out my anime dream and eat Korean barbecue like in Naruto. All I ever wanted to do. I was like, that food looks so good in the anime. You ever like cartoon food looks so good, bro? You'd be like, yo, I want to taste that so. So I got a chance to do that. So that was a blast and everything. But yeah, Taxol is crazy.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, the question was about whether Obsidian, as far as is it like the quote unquote new Bethesda?
Yeah.
So for me, no. I feel like the teams are different. I think the approaches are different. But I mean, Avowed looked amazing, and so I can't wait to see more about Avowed. It's just the aesthetic of it, and the fact that it's in pillars, meaning that they already know the lore, they already know the enemy set. It's like a lot. They're already going into it.
Right.
It's like it's not like you have to get new, I don't know, elements because you're creating a brand new IP. This is an existing IP, so it's easy for them to just kind of pull elements from the existing games and put it into this new RPG. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see more. I love the announcement. I thought the announcement hit well. I liked the trailer. I thought it looked fantastic because I know when I was watching it and like the arrow kept going, I'm like, yo, this is a long shot. Like, somebody,
I'm like, where's this thing going, bro?
Right. And just the whole part where the player starts doing this magic skill or whatever. I just thought it just stood out. I'm like, yo, they are really going for it. So I can't wait to see more.
There's an ability. I don't know. I won't say an ability, but there is I guess something unique in Pillars of Eternity that I never saw in any other game, any other RPG that I played. So I'm playing Pillars of Eternity, and I'm a rogue, and my dexterity is really, really high in the beginning of the game. And there's a character that is supposed to fetch water for you. So he's fetching water. When you come back, the enemies have showed up and basically wiped everybody out. So you start to fight the enemies, and then you fight the last boss, and like something is rumbling and you have to escape. And it cuts to a dialogue scene. And in this dialogue scene, you're reading the dialogue, and it's like you're climbing the mountain with this character that helped you. And as you climb the mountain, another guy comes up and grabs his leg or stops him and holds him at like knife point by the throat. And then it gives you an option. Do you talk your way out of him, out of letting the guy go? Do you go ahead and like fight him and say, you know what, you're going to die or whatever? Or do you pick up this javelin and throw it and kill him because you have 15 dexterity? And I was like, yo, that's pretty dope because it's using your stats, like based on your character. You get this stat line that you normally wouldn't get, this stat bonus. And because I had high dexterity, it gave me this ability to use this javelin during the dialogue, not even in game, but during the dialogue, kill the enemy with it and save this character. Now he's a part of my story. Whereas maybe if I didn't have it, maybe he died and he's no longer a part of my story. So in my head, I'm like, man, could you imagine if they implement that in Avowed and made that a next gen feature where you can actually see that played out based on your character stats? You know, you have certain bonuses, and then maybe a character survives in this sequence or he doesn't based on your skill set. That would be absolutely incredible. I've never seen that in any game. Like any game, like this dialogue trees, like in Mass Effect, it's like Paragon. Like if you know you have high charisma, you know, these dialogues open up. But never like if you have high might, maybe you can knock a guy out instead of talking to him. You know what I'm saying? Or like because you have high dexterity, you're quick enough to get to a weapon before somebody else, and that helps along the dialogue. I just thought that was really dope and would be a cool feature if they added that in Avowed.
Yeah, like one other thing too that when you mentioned that, as far as like comparing them to Bethesda, it's like you think about the studios, like as far as creating PC-based RPGs, Obsidian is one of the major ones. Like them and NXile are the major ones, and the fact that Microsoft own both of them, it's to me that just speaks volumes. Let's say for instance, okay, we got Playground Games making Fable. They need any guidance on how to do an RPG. They got two teams they can kind of tap those resources into to make sure they get it right. Like to me, it's man, if you cannot be an Xbox fan and not be excited about what they're doing right now. I'm
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. Without question. Speaking of Fable, as we jump into our last topic. So obviously Playground showed up at the last minute at the end of the show. Matt Booty decided to go ahead and give us a little teaser of Fable. And for me personally, I wanted Fable to be a lot more mature, and it looks like it's going to be mature. But they've gone ahead and continued to, introduce the British humor with the fairy getting eaten by the frog, and that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. I don't know what the art direction is going to be like. I hope that is a bit more realistic than what we initially had with like the sort of caricature characters
with the big hands.
Yeah. I'd rather them be a little bit more realistic, but they can continue with the British humor. And hopefully they keep it a little bit more mature and everything like that. But overall, man, my expectations for this game is extremely high. I really feel like Fable has to go from this B tier game to this A tier game. I never felt like it was a tier franchise.
I agree.
Like, it never felt that way. It was a good game, but it just never was on the level of Gears, Halo, Forza. So now with them having this massive budget and this massive team that they're constantly working on the game, I feel like it has an opportunity to finally enter this A-tier stratosphere, and I'm very excited for the potential of this game. When do you guys think this game is going to drop?
I think what is it, 2020? I think 2022, 2023. That's my opinion. Well, they said that they've been working on it for 2 years already, but they also just did a lot of hiring. I'm gonna say 2022. Just my guess.
Oh, they're massive right now. I think they might be up there with 343 in terms of employees. They probably about 400 or 500.
Yeah, between both studios.
Studios, and they did that quickly. So that means that whatever they got, it's a jewel. Because whenever you got developers that's eager to go over there and work on whatever they're working on, it's crazy with Fable and Forza. You know what I'm saying? They have the possibility of putting out two great games, graphically impressive games. That's crazy because Forza 5 is going to look amazing.
Yep.
Right.
And banking off their pedigree and what they've done with that, I think Forza is going to look beyond real. Whatever our direction they go with, I think it's gonna look crazy amazing because Playground Studios to me is one of them studios that gets it. And I know I was talking about visual but a lot of times that if something look good to a person, whether they play it or not, if it looks good, they assume the game is gonna be good already. You know what I'm saying? Just by how it looks. But Playground to me is one of them top studios that they one of them studios.
Yeah, absolutely. When they got rid of Lionhead, I was disappointed at that point because I'm like, they didn't have a lot of RPGs, and then they got rid of the RPG studio, and nobody really expected them to see Fable again. Some people thought obviously we might see Fable, but nobody really expected it. So obviously, Fable being the worst kept secret and now returning after all this time has been, really, really a good sign for Microsoft. And having this RPG back, just based on what this type of game is, it really balances out what Microsoft is doing. You have a third person, which is exactly what Fable is, RPG, Western RPG that they're going to have. Then you got a first person RPG with Avowed. I don't know if In Exile is making a third person or they're going to continue their style of, I guess you could say, sort of like strategy RPGs, which is okay, but I would prefer them to go more, I guess we could say more modern, more third person action RPG, maybe even Mass Effect-ish, which is something that I've been dying for, Knights of the Old Republic-ish type title. If an Exile could pull that off, I would be beyond grateful. But whatever they show, I'll be happy. I'm just glad that Microsoft is getting back to what I feel like they were with the 360. And they truly were an amazing studio when it came to balancing both RPGs and Japanese RPGs, because I just think people not giving them enough credit for the work they have been doing with the Japanese audience.
I promise you, Kyle, like for me, I never forget it. January 9th, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because we all know what happened on that day.
Scalebound.
So right. Not just it wasn't, people like to point at Scalebound, but it wasn't just Scalebound.
It was a lot of games.
Right.
It was a lot of games.
It was a lot of things happened around that time, right? And so just to see from that point to where they are now, dude, it's like night and day difference. Night and day difference as far as the first party studios, the games is coming, what they shown, what's happening, what's coming down the pike, like Game Pass. I mean, it's incredible. Like to me, the turnaround is very noticeable. And I feel like at this point it can only get better from here. Right, because we're starting to see games that, like, specifically, for instance, just to give you an example, like Dragon Quest. The fact that Dragon Quest and Yakuza on Game Pass, you know what I mean? So
I was like, what?
Yeah,
it's like these things you can.
But I know it's one of those games. I don't play it, but I know it's one of those games, and I was like, wow,
it's a popular game.
I mean, just think about it. You got Dragon Quest coming to Game Pass. You got all of Kingdom Hearts is on Xbox. You got Yakuza Game Pass on Xbox. Like these are games that would usually be associated with Xbox. Period. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, they are working. Okay, this is something.
That's what I'm saying. I'm waiting for them to show. Once Persona come on, it's over.
It's right.
She got a point. If you look at it, all the Yakuza, all the Final Fantasies, all the Kingdom Hearts,
right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And Game Pass though, like think about that. So it's gonna be to a point to where people are gonna be like, okay, am I gonna pay $60 or am I going ahead and just Game Pass that bad boy? I don't got $60 right now. Let me just pay $15 for the first month.
That's what I was.
You know what though? I think the most impressive thing about all of this, like during the 360 generation, like you guys said, like they had a great balance. But this time, they have some of these teams out of first party. And you know what? I don't know what podcast like Delilah was on. Maybe it was K Mega. It had to be a couple years ago, but she said something that stuck with me. Xbox needs to nurture these studios. I believe you did.
I say that today.
Oh, you still say it?
I still say that to this day. I got a hashtag on Twitter called Nurture Your IP, and I'm always talking about, what's going to happen with these IPs? What are we going to do with these IPs? What's with these IPs? Because to me, that's how Nintendo became Nintendo.
Right.
Is they nurture their IPs, they milk them a little bit, But they nurtured them. They put quality time and effort into marketing and promoting those IPs. And to me, it's equally as important. Whether it's a small IP or a big, gigantic, huge one like Halo. I feel like every IP should matter. If your name is like, I think about that towards the work that I do. You know what I mean? It's like it's design as a designer. If my name's associated with it, I want it to be great. I feel like that towards every IP, everything that's created. If my name's on it, I want it to be amazing.
Right.
Like, to me, it's no room for mediocrity.
Right.
Period.
I agree 100%.
100% agree with that.
Yeah, Microsoft has to be able. That's why it's like you have some IPs this generation that you sort of let kind of go by, which was like, obviously they don't own Sunset, they don't own Rise, but you have Quantum Break, which is something that if you wanted to nurture, you could. You have Recore, which is something if you wanted to nurture, you could. You have some success with Ori. Now, I don't know. You really can't drag Ori out. I feel like Ori stories, I don't want to spoil it. We know if you play Ori, kind of Ori should be pretty much in a way.
And that studio's moving on too.
Yeah, they're moving on. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But that is a character that in its own right, had a really successful run. So Microsoft has the opportunity, and again, they have IP that they aren't touching yet. Everybody's still begging for Banjo. People are still asking for Banjo Kazooie. People still asking for Perfect Dark. Like, it's insane. Like, I've had people suggest
we can leave Banjo somewhere.
Bring back Lost Odyssey. Reboot Lost Odyssey. Like, you have these RPGs.
Mech Warriors, not Mech Warriors, but Mech Crimson Skies.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. They own
they got a war chest of IP. It's insane. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, I feel like IP is the lifeblood of any company. And this is why indie developers fight for it. This is why, you got Bungie, for instance, to give you an idea with Bungie. We all know they're working on Destiny. Well, when Destiny was first getting created, they want to make sure they keep the IP, and that's why they was like, okay, we're gonna go over to Activision. At least Activision gonna allow us to keep our IP because it's the lifeblood of any company. When you create your own company, you want to keep what you create.
That's why
it's like having your masters when you make a music. You know what I mean?
That's why Moon Studios is going with Private Division, because as far as I know, Private Division, they allow you to keep the IP.
I mean, I think that's why Microsoft is in a position they're in now, whether opposed to the current generation. I think they got away from that ownership in terms of their IP, which put them in a bad predicament, because even Insomniac, we're not going to make this game exclusive unless you own us the IP. We can't Rise. We can't get another Rise because they didn't want to. Microsoft wanted to purchase, but they wouldn't allow them to. So Microsoft said, okay, you know what? We're finna stop funding these titles and not having ownership. We're finna grab these studios and own our own IP and put out our own.
Yep. Like the analogy I like to use is nobody's gonna take care of your kids like you're gonna take care of your kids.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's the babysitter, she gonna do a half job. You know what I mean? She gonna care only half the time.
Right, because it ain't her kid.
Right, exactly.
Right. It's true though. You're absolutely right, and that's why it's important that. And I said before, like that's why I always was asking Microsoft to allow, since you don't have no studios, you got to let 343 and Coalition make some new IP. But now that they have some studios, they don't have to rely on that anymore. And again, I always say this, man. I have nothing against PlayStation. I think PlayStation is a phenomenal platform. I plan to get a PS5. I think they have some amazing games. I just don't think that Microsoft needs to follow in PlayStation's footsteps to be great.
Same.
I agree.
I think. Yeah,
I hate when people
they're gonna have some games like what there's the Prestige third person action adventure game.
That's right. What you think about is
they're gonna have games like that.
Hellblade too,
every single game to be like that.
Exactly.
I don't want
I get tired of hearing that. I get tired. They need to
Me
copy
too.
PlayStation.
Same. I get tired of it too.
Copy PlayStation format, and then if they do, all you're gonna hear is, "Well, they copying them. They copy them. They had to do this in order to. They had to be like PlayStation." I don't want to hear that. I didn't bat it. I'm not invested in the Xbox ecosystem for them mimicking other people. I'm invested in that because they have something that's totally different than what other platforms offer. And in the past, Microsoft's shown you that they can, in one product, have a great single player, have a great co-op and multiplayer in one product.
Right.
And you don't need to separate them. Halo gave you that, Gears gave you that. You know what I'm saying? And they can create with the studios they got, and with the studios they got, I think there's more space and room to do that. Whether it's third party, I do think they need like a Ninja Gaiden type action.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I missed that.
I miss Ninja Gaiden a lot. Yeah.
And if you can't get it from Tecmo, then you got studios hopefully that can create their own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do miss that type of game on the box. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
One thing though that we've been talking about these games on Xbox. But one title that we don't want to mention, which is kind of surprising to me, is Everwild.
That looks amazing.
That game looked incredible.
Yeah, it looked amazing.
Bro, that game looks so freaking beautiful.
I mean,
man,
yeah.
Screenshots, and it was.
I just don't know what you're doing.
Wow.
When you compare like Everwild the way it looked last year versus this year, it's like nice. It's like you could tell that they've.
It looked even better,
right?
And it looked good last year, but it looks even better.
Yeah, it looks better now. Yeah, I like the flow of the animations.
Yeah,
the hair,
the
character.
art
It looks good.
The art
It just
direction
looks
is incredible.
I feel like Everwild should be a game about spirit animals and stopping the darkness, whatever it is. Whatever the darkness is, stop
well,
it.
at the end of the day, it's a game, right? So you're gonna have to do something.
You're gonna do something.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And so it's gonna have to be a hook, just like it was just like it is with Sea of Thieves. You're a pirate, right? So you're doing something. So I'm pretty sure they reveal all that stuff in due time.
Right.
People was like, "Is this just an animated movie?" Like somebody mentioned that to me. Like, man, what? No, it's a game. Okay.
Right.
So
yeah, man. But Microsoft right now is on the roll. They got their Fable. They got their Avowed. I like the RPG movement. I like the Japanese movement. I think the next big thing for them is to get a Japanese studio. Everybody wants them to get Warner Brothers. I don't know if they should get Warner Brothers. That's a big investment, but they do have some IP. If you make that investment, how long do you allow those studios to make multi-plat games? Because there's a lot of studios in there, and you got to get IP. It's not worth it just to get the studios and not the IP.
Well, they can get some of the talent too, because I did hear that they in search for like art teams. Microsoft is in search for hiring a lot of artists for art teams and stuff like that. So you can get some of the talent there. I think the mainstay will be the Mortal Kombat team and the Batman team. Them two studios.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then the other studios, you can just grab artists and whatever you need.
Well, they had a little quick Twitter thing about KI versus Mortal Kombat. That would be fire.
Mm-hmm.
Able to pull that off, that'd be
crazy.
Yeah, that would definitely be crazy, without question. Just a quick tidbit before we finish up. I heard PlayStation has some crazy new feature where they're allowing you to. I think it got approved, right, Karaba? The demos.
I don't know if it got approved or not. Where did you hear that?
I heard that PlayStation may have gotten their. I think it was like the live demos for every game.
Yeah, I get that, but is it approved? Because so far I remember it's a rumor.
No, I think I recently just saw it. I could have sworn I saw it somewhere. I'll do an investigation next week, and if it pops up, we'll definitely discuss it. But I heard that there was,
to me.
Yeah, there's a thing where PlayStation may have the availability for all games to be demoed on their platform going forward.
So can I cut you off a little bit?
Sure.
It's like a timer or something?
No. So let me explain it. So they have two concepts. One is you don't need to download your demos anymore. You can just simply play them. And the other thing is you can create your own small demo, like a tidbit of a minute or 5, and that you can share it with your friend. I don't know how many friends it can be shared with, and I also have no idea if you can share it outside your friend circle. But that's what the rumor is.
Yeah, so basically you can play a section of a game, right? And you could take that section, whether it's 5 or 10 minutes, I'm guessing, and you could turn that particular section into a demo and send it to your friend and say, hey, check this out, and then they'll be able to play that same section of the game.
I thought I saw it. Yeah,
fire.
Yeah, I thought I saw it got approved. Basically, it says
cool.
it's called the PS5 could have a free instant game demo for every title in its library, and the next gen console is rumored to use its power to load and stream content quicker than ever before. Basically, what it does is it allows you to take any section of a game, make it a demo, and send it to anybody you want.
That's crazy.
That would be a W.
Yeah.
How is that okay? Well, how is that different from what they do with the game share thing now? Like what how they can play? Is that just an extension of?
I think I have the feeling that thing is you need to be on, in the sense of you need to be
okay. I get
playing the game, and then you allow him or her to play with you, to play instead of you.
Yeah.
But that other thing, you just cut. You copy you copy and create your own little demo, and then you can share it. So you don't need to be online for him or her to play it.
Yeah, that's crazy. If they can pull that off, that'll be a unique feature.
That would be a huge.
That would be a very unique.
There's a lot of games people would love to try.
Yeah.
If you're able to pull that off,
well, if you got Game Pass, you can just play on. You can download.
No, without question, Game Pass. I mean,
you talk go shit, Delilah.
All right, Delilah.
I'm just saying, hey, I'm just calling it how I see it. You feel me?
I ain't gonna be letting PlayStation just throw jabs at me now. Microsoft Flight Simulator is a once in a generation wow moment Eurogamer. Now I haven't seen it yet. But obviously
it's beautiful. I've been watching a lot of stuff about it recently. It's a good looking game.
Yeah, the most realistic looking game of the generation.
What game?
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh yeah, incredible.
And they said you can literally fly over your house and it looks exactly like your house. It's pretty.
Yeah, that's
kind of scary.
It uses the same like map data that Bing Maps does, and something to watch out for this. Not to rag on the game or anything, but you have to stream that in, so it uses data as you play the game. So if you have a data cap, you have to be careful. I think in the Digital Foundry video, he played about 10 hours and it used about 7 gigabytes of data. So you have to be careful because you can't if you want to download all that topography data, that's like petabytes. You can't download that.
They said it was 10 double-sided DVD discs.
Yeah, and that's not even all. That's only half the game.
That's only half.
What's crazy though? Like the one thing I worry about with
I never heard of that.
So the one thing I worry about with Flight Simulator is that it's a simulator. I mean, it's like I have a hard time classifying it as like a game. It's gorgeous. This is beautiful. And hopefully they have like a game mode or something like that, but it's a simulator, like it's true and true. So it's it's for pilots and whatnot.
Like the last said, that is scary. People hate you to mention. I'm gonna burn your house right now. You ain't gonna get the mansion. You burn my house. I'm on a simulator, player. I see your house.
It uses specific air traffic control data that's like public. So when the house, or if there's a plane over like Tempe, Arizona, and you're also flying over Tempe, Arizona, that plane's going to be there in the game.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yes. It's an insane game. Like
I know they got live like weather also, right?
Yeah, it has live weather data that comes in. So if it starts raining and you're flying over LA, it'll start raining. If there's a lightning storm and over London, there's a lightning storm. Like I can't believe I'm excited for a flight simulator, but I'm excited.
Man, shout out to Asobo, man.
Yes. The most exciting game in history.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. They tried to clown me on that studio, and I had to check them. I said,
the one who did Plague Tale: Innocence?
Yeah, because they did Disney, because they did Disney Rush. And I was trying to tell Gina, you can't let one game define a studio in terms of their ability and what they're capable of doing.
That's right, Cal. Picking on D-Lala like that.
I don't care what nobody say about Delilah.
Think what they did with Disney Rush and then the Plague's Tale and now the Flight. That's a jewel of a studio.
Imagine what they do next.
The question was asking me is that which studio, if Microsoft purchased another, who I've been? And I said Asobo, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy.
Let them, that would be a get.
It's the potential.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the small studio and what they did with a place and what they come on now. You don't man, bro. I don't know, but they did a
they're very talented.
Yeah, they're very talented.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if Flight Sim is a success, maybe Microsoft may go ahead and make that an addition at some point. I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of people clamoring for a Sobo to become a part of Microsoft first party. That'd be an interesting pickup for sure. I want to say I think that's really it. As far as we didn't see Battletoads. Speaking of Delilah Studios,
so the studio Battletoad put out a tweet and Microsoft reacted to
Rare
it.
did 3 toads. I think earlier today.
Yep.
Yeah, they did.
What they say? They fired Delilah.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. They just put 3 toads.
Dude, that sounds too close to my name. You got to be careful with that. Sounds a little too close to my name.
I was harassing D for a minute with that, but no, I did a whole segment on that studio, and saw the first game. And then the thing was, what was so funny about it was I knew it was gonna be bad, right? And then they actually showed it, and it really was bad. That's the thing was crazy, because we were like, "Yo, look at this game that they made. Why would you give the studio this game?"
But Cal, was that 2 years ago? Wasn't that 2 years ago? Was it 2 years?
It might have been.
How much time has it been? How much time?
Hey, Cal, she said 2 years ago.
I know. It's like it's just crazy because it's like you want to have the benefit of the doubt.
Pure jokes, man.
That they improved and stuff. But I think people just expected so much from this game, and it doesn't look like it is.
Know what did it? Killer Instinct did it. When they saw the Battletoads and Killer Instinct, people assume, when they do a Battletoad game, that's how they're gonna look.
Rash.
Right. Yeah. You know,
like, nope.
Right. It went with some sort of cartoony artistic style, and I don't know, man.
I'm trying to stay true to the original.
Right.
Well, I think you gotta get away from that.
Did y'all play the Streets of Rage?
Yeah, if it looked like Streets of Rage, I'd be fine with that. But it's like it didn't even look that good.
It's drawn. It's drawn like that, but yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't look as good as Streets of Rage.
No, it doesn't.
I don't know. I just hope that the game turns out good. I never want to judge a book by its cover, but it's hard when you see something or you expect something and it's not that. Hopefully the game turns out to be really good. Because again, we didn't see that game, so I wouldn't be surprised in August if they showed it. I wouldn't be surprised if they showed Hellblade 2 and the Initiatives game. I wouldn't
be surprised if Battletoads comes out in August.
I think Battletoads is supposed to release this year. I mean, it should. It's not that big of a title. It should be just a little platformer.
Yeah, it can come out in August, the Shadow Drop. That's optimistic, but you could just save it for launch day to bolster the. Hey, look, and Battletoads came out alongside Halo.
I guess so. You could do that. Yeah, you could. We'll see.
You need a variety when you want this.
You sound so sad, man.
You need a variety.
It's like, you could. No Killer Instinct, but you could.
Man, I thought I was the only one that heard a man like
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
What if it comes out and you love it?
What, Battletoads?
Yes.
I don't know, man. I'm not a really big beat 'em up guy. The last big beat 'em up that I played Streets of Rage, but I didn't finish it. But I think the last game I actually beat that was beat 'em up was like Turtles in Time. That was
it's just not your thing. Okay.
It's just it's not my.
But you judge it harshly though. It's not your thing, but
because you know what? Because I grew up on it. It's like when you grow up on something. Like, did you see the new Transformers joint on Netflix?
No.
Yeah, I got you. I get where you're going with that though. Like,
that was fire. They got a new Netflix card. I don't know. I'm a big ass kid, but they got Netflix has a new Transformers cartoon called War for Cybertron, and it basically talks about how the Autobots and the Decepticons fought during the Civil War on Cybertron and why the Decepticons basically revolted against the Autobots and how they were oppressed. I don't know. I feel some kind of way about that right now in today's climate, but I'm just saying.
Hey, that topic a little.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they was really using the words oppressed. That's the thing that's catching me. So I was like, I kind of feel like a Decepticon right now, but but the thing was, it was kind of dope because I'm like, man, the animation, it was so much darker and everything. So I thought it was really cool. So it's like when I see things that brings up the nostalgia for me when I was a kid, and I look at them today, if they don't capture that feeling I had when I was a kid, I immediately get disappointed. Like when they came out with the new Thundercats, I was actually kind of hyped for it.
It's never gonna be able to capture that for you again. That's a different time. That's a time and place thing, right?
Nah, I don't think so. I think you could always capture it. Like when they brought back Ninja Turtles. Who did it?
The new movies,
Platinum.
right?
Platinum. No.
Oh, Platinum, the game. Okay.
That game was hated, man.
Yeah, it was, but it actually was the closest thing that actually came out that was very close to the original. So that's why I was like, oh, it's not a bad game. Just technically it was a bad game, but it was very close to the original. So for me, it's like when I look at Battletoads and I think about the original game that I used to play, it's like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens with it though. But I get where they're coming from with it, at least from that perspective. Any other little tidbits or news out there that you guys want to discuss before we head out?
Cuphead's on PS4.
Who?
Cuphead.
Oh yeah, Cuphead on PS4. Everybody's hyped about that.
Cuphead and Lucky Tail. Super Lucky Tail.
Lucky Tail was it already on PS4?
No, it just
that whole narrative changed with that now. Cuphead.
Lucky Tales went on PS4 last year sometime.
Yeah, this is Super Lucky's Tale. This is
no longer a kiddie game.
Oh, Super Lucky Tail, my bad.
Better gaming.
It just kills me because they make it seem like Cuphead was a big get.
Yeah,
like it was
3 years later. Yeah,
like Microsoft doesn't own the IP, so
they used to clown Cuphead.
I'm like, Cuphead is no Yakuza.
Bro,
there's no.
That one's for the fans, though. The fans get excited about stuff like Cup. The diehards get excited for stuff like Cup.
What they put out and the situation they're in with the pandemic, it was only, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you got to put your content on the system now to survive.
Cuphead's a good game, though.
I'm happy more people get to play Cuphead. There's no reason to be mad about it.
No, they changed. Cuphead's a good game now.
Yeah,
a good game.
They did change Cuphead. Cuphead looks like this. Oh, it looks boring. Oh, it's dumb art style. Oh, it doesn't look fun.
Yay, Cuphead!
Yeah. Oh, Cuphead's here. I'll give you. Here's my $25. $24.99, no problem. I'll buy 2 copies.
I'll show you how dumb the wars are.
Wait until both Ori games drop on PlayStation. Just wait.
That probably won't happen. But if it does happen,
one's on Switch already.
Yeah, that's.
I can tell you what you should do. This is what you should do. Okay, when you get a chance, look up who owns the Ori IP, and then with that, tell you everything.
Yeah, Microsoft.
Yeah, well, then that ain't true. But I did hear it.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know how Phil, he's in a good mood this generation.
Phil is cool with Nintendo. Like they go out, they give mimosas. He just sends
they're in the same city, right?
Thank you,
yeah,
card.
They're next door. Right next door. They're literally right next door.
Yeah, they're all in Redmond, Bellevue area, right?
They cool. Yeah. It's a big difference with Nintendo.
No problem. We'll send it over. No problem.
PlayStation's a whole.
Send a couple things over to Xbox too. Can we get some stuff over here too?
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
But anyway, I think that was last year. The rumors was going around about Nintendo and Microsoft having some big going on that it really never came to fruition.
Nothing ever happened.
No.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was just about Ori and like Super Lucky Tails. Probably all it was.
I was losing my mind last year. I don't even want to talk about Nintendo. Remember, I was talking about Nintendo's getting this and Xbox isn't getting anything. And
look, I could see. I know it was just dispelled recently, but I could see at some point in the future the Switch or whatever comes after the Switch being an xCloud compatible device. That's all I'm saying. I could see that happening.
I could see that. I don't know if Microsoft will allow it, but I could see that.
I always ask that question. See, is with Switch do you consider Switch a console?
Yeah,
I don't. I consider it.
I consider it handheld.
It's a hybrid. That's why it's so cool.
But see, I use it as a handheld. I don't use it as like.
I very rarely use it as a handheld.
I feel like it's the DS. That's why it sells so well.
Yeah,
handheld.
That is true. That is definitely one of the reasons that it did so well because people like handhelds. Handhelds always do well.
$300. I tell people all the time, "Oh, but the Switch outsold." I'm like, bro, it's a mobile device and it's $300. Of course, it's going to sell, especially in Japan, where all they do is travel on tubes. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, of course, it's going to sell. But anyway, we've been rocking for almost 2 hours, man. I want to thank everybody for coming through. Really appreciate the support as always. Delilah, when's your next show?
Oh, Saturday. Every Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, growing the gaming. Me and the ladies, we talk games, and we keep our show nice and short. It's like an hour and 10 minutes typically. So yeah, man. I mean, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
No doubt. Check out GWG whenever you guys get a chance. Great show.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
It's been a minute. Dirt, when's your next show?
Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We Bleed Green. My Xbox podcast. Me and a few of the homies. Sometime posts up will show up on there. So yeah, come and check it out. 6:30 on my channel. Dirt Griggity Eastern time. So Xbox podcast for Xbox fans.
That's right. Post up. When's your next show?
You know what? I just got my camera. Well, been headed. I'm working on some editing stuff behind the scenes right now. But next week, sometime, I haven't picked a date. I'm gonna go live for my first stream and see how that goes.
Okay.
I believe that when I see it.
Now, you know what? Everybody been telling me that, but they've been excited, saying, "Hey, we've been waiting on your content and stuff like that." So that's a good motivating factor for me to start putting out more videos and then doing some live streams, giving my opinion on things.
Oh yeah.
Next week, though, I'm gonna make that.
Karaba, when's your next show?
Monday on BGP.
BGP. Make sure you guys check that out. What time?
That I don't know because I live in the Netherlands and the USA show.
Tell you
the timeline.
I got
tell them that time and they can convert it, you know.
Cam, I heard you guys are back. I saw the tweet.
Yes.
When are you guys your next show?
So you can go listen to the newest episode of CWFP. We cover the final WCW pay-per-view, WCW Greed from March 2001. And I'm gonna tell you, I expected that to be a train wreck going in. They only had 2 episodes of Nitro. It wasn't good, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Oh.
There's some okay matches on that card. There's some just crazy decisions I'm not sure why you would make when you're booking a wrestling show. But
was Vince Russo still around at that time?
No, I think Russo was gone for the last year, a couple months, but he was. I think he was ousted sometime after Bash at the Beach 2000 when Hogan walked out and he went and cut a promo on Hogan.
Okay,
did the shoot that was ridiculous. Yeah,
I remember that.
We might cover that at some point too. So you can listen to CWFP on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you find your podcasts. Part of the Orange Groves Collective. Great shows on the Orange Groves Net. Check them out on Twitter. You can follow CWFPcast on Twitter at CWFPcast, and you can follow me on Twitter at Cam Hambone. And I think I'm going to review Carry On. As a game came out in Game Pass, a game I've been waiting for a couple years.
Good game.
I have some thoughts on that game, and I think I'm going to write a nice little review for it. I'm about halfway through it. I'm having some troubles getting the flow of it, but I have enough thoughts to write a review on that one. So keep a lookout on the Take website.
Which game?
Carry On.
Carry On.
Oh, Carry On.
That's the game where you play a monster and kill everybody.
It's a Devolver digital indie.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Time.
Absolutely. Again, hey, you can Go ahead.
One thing. Anyone going to cover Destroy All Humans?
No.
Okay.
I hated that game as a kid, and I don't not play it now.
Yeah, it's a remaster.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
And you can catch Tick Podcasts every Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern or 10:30-ish, shall I say? Every Thursday, every week, honestly. And look, we're doing our best to try to bring great guests on to have great discussions. We're also trying to get some devs on the show. It's been very difficult to get devs at this time. Some of the people that we had scheduled had to basically cancel or sort of try to reschedule or find the time to do it. COVID has had an impact on a lot of things and a lot of people. So it's been really difficult to try to get people on. But again, we're still pursuing a lot of developers, and as those developers agree and we get those dates set in, we'll definitely have them on, and we'll continue to have great guests on like Delilah and Dirt, and make sure that we always have great variety of voices on the show. So I want to thank everybody for coming through and supporting us as always. Hit the subscribe button if you have not. We have the new YouTube channel up right now. So go ahead and hit the sub button for that. If you're on Twitch, you can hit the sub button for that as well. Either way, we appreciate the support, and I'm grateful for you guys coming through. I guess you can catch us next week again, Thursday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm your host, OX3KLL, with Cam Hambone, my boy Karaba, my man Post Up, and our guest Delilah HD and Dirk Griggity. And we are out of here. We're off this planet. See you guys next week. Peace.
Later.
Bye.
Later.
Yes, sir.